Number 42, numéro 42, Mitchell Tainter.
Hello and welcome to TD Plays as the Ottawa Fury FC look to take on their Ontario rivals, Toronto FC2. Jenna Mosier alongside me, Tyler McDonald, and I hope all the Fury fans enjoyed their bye week. Fury with a little extra rest coming to this one. Toronto with a bunch of games coming into this one as well. They've had 3 games in a very short span of time. Last time Fury was out, they played against the Rochester Rhinos. That was a 1-1 draw. Jenna, as a former player, having this little bye week to rest your legs, get your mental capacity back going, What are your thoughts going into a game coming out of a bye week?
You know, when you have such an extensive schedule like the Fury has, it's really nice to step away from the pitch just for a little bit. You know, focus on things that make you happy other than just playing soccer. It's also going to give Coach Dalglish a chance to work on some plays maybe he had in mind but didn't get a chance to get to. And also players that are feeling just a little sore, maybe a little rusty, get that extra time off, and that's never a bad thing when you're playing a schedule like the Ottawa Fury has.
Now, this is the final game of a 3-game set between these two teams this season. So far, the result is 1 draw and 1 loss. Last time these two teams met, it was a 1-0 victory for Toronto FC2 down inside Toronto. Of course, Fury want to even this series up at 1-1-1, I guess it would be. What do they need to do better offensively to create chances against Toronto?
Well, there's really no reason that they should be at where they are at against Toronto FC2. This team is very beatable, and it's interesting because you wonder what goes on in the change room, because it seems like they lose a little bit of their drive once they play a team that they can easily beat. So consistency is going to be key. They need to maintain that, you know, energy level and that drive to win. They really need to want it, kind of like what they did way back when they played against Toronto FC. We need to see that passion come out on the field.
Well, always a tricky time here against Toronto FC2. Fury FC looking to please the hometown crowd. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have Graham Ivory and Carlos Verde on the call in tonight's game. This is Ottawa Fury FC Soccer.
Welcome back to TD Place. Graham Ivory, Carlos Verde along with you for the call of tonight's match between Ottawa Fury FC and TFC2. Carlos, might be too early when you say there's still almost half a season left to say it's a must-win game, but knowing what they want to get out of this 4-game homestand, crucial to claim 3 points tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Head coach Paul Dalglish said he wanted 10 points out of this 5-game homestand. So far, the Fury have just won, Graham. If they want to turn things around and make a playoff push, they're going to have to pick up 3 points here this afternoon and kickstart some momentum here into the second half of the season.
All right, well, let's have a look at our starting lineups for both Ottawa Fury FC and Toronto FC2, brought to you by Gabriel Pizza, Ottawa's bigger, better pizza, getting his 22nd consecutive start in goal for Ottawa Fury FC. Callum Irving, the Canadian international. They'll play a 4-2-3-1 in front of Callum Irving tonight. At left back, it's the Jamaican Andre Campbell, the two center backs, Ramon Martin Del Campo and Shane McElhaney. And at right back, the Ottawa native Eddie Edward. The two defensive midfielders in front, the captain Lance Roseboom and Gerardo Bruna, the Argentinian. Aake Lubuyera gets his first career start as he makes his Fury FC debut. Steven Dos Santos in the middle, Carl Howarth on the right-hand side, and Tucker Hume, the man who rescued that point for Ottawa Fury FC in their last match, that 1-1 draw against Rochester, gets the start up top.
And interesting to note, Dalglish opting to go with the two big men. Dos Santos is going to play underneath Hume and try and be more of that hold-up, creative kind of role in the attacking midfield to try and set up Hume or push things out to the wings, where, of course, we'll see Luer in his pro debut.
For the visiting Toronto FC2, Mark Pace gets the start in goal. The 6'4" American, he robbed Ottawa of at least a point the last time these two teams met on July 8th, claiming that 1-0 shutout victory. The defense in front of him in the 3-4-2-1 lineup for Toronto FC2. Brandon Aubrey, Mitchell Tainter in the middle, the captain for TFC2, and Julian Dunn. The four midfielders in front, Anthony Osorio, Liam Fraser, Sergio Camargo, and Dante Campbell, who makes his TFC2 debut here in the nation's capital tonight. Aiden Daniels, Ricardo John, and Sean Hundle, the three up top for Toronto this evening.
And an interesting matchup to watch, Graham, is going to be that left flank. We saw it when these two teams met back on July 8th in Durham. It's Andre Campbell, the Fury left back, versus Dante Campbell, the recently signed youngster out of Ontario, where they've both got crazy amounts of pace. They're both 100-mile-an-hour kind of players. And we saw in the first half of that game on July 8th, a lot of the build-up happen along that left flank with that Campbell versus Campbell battle.
And you mentioned Andre Campbell making his return to the lineup as he picked up a second yellow for a red card in that match against TFC2. Interestingly enough, 2 red cards on the season for Campbell, both coming against TFC2. Of course, the first coming back on April the 22nd in that 0-0 draw, the home opener of the season for Ottawa.
And again, that might be a byproduct of the fact that he does play just as hard, just as aggressively as he does on that left flank.
Third minute, 0-0 here at TD Place. Fury FC have held the possession in the early going. Andre Campbell down that left side delivers this one in. That one will take a deflection, and Fury FC will have their first set piece of the match by way of the corner kick. Looks like Gerardo Bruna will be taking the corner for Ottawa. Delivers this one in, going up for the header, falls loose. Good save by Pace. Loose in the 6-yard box, and he comes charging off his line to claim the loose ball. Good opportunity for Ottawa on their first corner of the match.
As you see it here, Pace just with an excellent reactionary stop, kind of through a screen as Steven Dos Santos was parked on the doorstep. It's a great headed effort down there by Hume. Might have come off a TFC defender, but fantastic reactionary stop from Pace. We saw 4 or 5 of those back on July 8th in TFC2's 1-0 win.
Fury FC have yet to score against Toronto FC2 this season. Of course, we mentioned the home opener finished 0-0, and then that 1-0 defeat in Toronto back on the 8th of July. 16 of Ottawa's 17 matches in USL this season have been decided by a goal or less, but you can imagine that tonight against a team like TFC2, who've lost 4 of their last 5, they'd certainly like to have a good showing offensively.
By the same token, Graham, this is a Fury side that is winless in their last 5 games, last 4 games in USL regular season play, and, well, scoring has been at a premium for this side. We've seen them struggle on the road, at home, doesn't really matter. They've struggled to find that consistent finish in the opposing 18-yard box. So again, we see Tucker Hume, Steven Dos Santos, both in the starting 11 for Paul Dalglish's side. We'll see whether or not that sparks something here against TFC2.
Well, they try to spring Hume, and he's won the ball here, has space in the 18, delivers it over to Dos Santos. That shot was blocked. Falls to Carl Howarth. There's an effort from distance, but that one well up and over the goal.
Again, it's a good build-up, though, as we see Hume just straight up win that ball off of Brandon Aubrey, squares it, and Dos Santos with a lovely first-time effort Of course, Mitchell Tainter, the big, wiry captain for this TFC2 side, he anchors them at the back, was in perfect position to break up that opportunity. But again, Human Dos Santos showing not only strength and size to get the ball and retain the ball, but they do have some finish. They do have a bit of agility, not necessarily over long stretches, but they're pretty quick and tight for big men.
Well, they'll certainly give Brandon Aubrey, Mitchell Tainter, and Julian Dunn all they can handle tonight. Those three, 6'3", 6'2", 6'1", respectively. Hume at 6'5", Steven Dos Santos at 6'4". Should mention the subs on the bench for Ottawa tonight. The backup goalkeeper, David Palmain. Midfielder, John Barden. Defender, Kyle Venter. Forward, Sito. Midfielders, Jamar Dixon, Sergio Minicio, and Adonijah Reed. The subs for TFC2. Backup goalkeeper, Angelo Cavalluzzo. Midfielder, Brian James. Forward, Akeem Andrews. Defender, Jordan McCrary. Midfielders, Ryan Telfer and Malik Johnson. And Ottawa remain without the services of Onawal Bassi, who still looks to recover from an ankle injury, and are also without the services of Ryan Williams, who's working his way back from a knee injury.
And it's interesting, you mentioned Julian Dunn there on that back three for TFC2, and he really embodies what this TFC2, TFC3 system is all about down in Toronto. He's a 16-year-old, he's a local product, and what he's done is he's come in, he made his debut, first start against Ottawa earlier this month. He started 4 straight games, so he's getting that pro experience, and you can tell that he is kind of the prototype as to what TFC wants their TFC2, TFC3 system to become, where you have a player progress through the ranks, get meaningful pro minutes in the USL or League One Ontario, and then be able to jump to the first team once he breaks 19, 20 years old.
Ball won there by Steven Dos Santos. Takes a hard challenge there from Anthony Osorio and goes down, as does Osorio, who might have gotten the elbow of Dos Santos in the head. Dos Santos grabbing at his chin. Of course, a hard challenge in on Dos Santos after he won the ball from Osorio in the initial challenge.
See, looking at that replay, it almost looks like Osorio might have gotten the worst of that, as Dos Santos got clipped, looked like in the shoulder, maybe neck area, and then as he was reacting, it almost looked like he brought his arm down and might have clipped Osorio in the back of the head. So not a great sign for either side, as both players still down getting treatment. We'll get an early water break. Real hot here this evening in Ottawa for a 7 p.m. kickoff. Both teams taking advantage of the water here early.
Yeah, and you mentioned the heat, but also the sunshine, and Mark Pace is going to have to battle that for probably the better part of the opening 45 minutes here. Oh, and it's Dos Santos who gets the yellow card on the play, and he's completely bewildered as to why he's the only one going into the books.
I think they might end up being offsetting here almost, and it looks like he might give a yellow to Osorio, and there you see it as well. I guess that's the right call. I mean, I think both coaches and both players would rather that he just let both of them off with a warning there, as it was kind of an innocuous collision, but both went down, and our official felt the need to book both of them. That's big, especially for Osorio. He's playing in the heart of the midfield, Graham, and having that yellow and having to play on that yellow for 82+ minutes here this evening could be a bit of a struggle for him, as he's pretty active in the heart of that midfield.
Well, now a free kick opportunity coming for Ottawa here. Both Gerardo Bruna and Carl Hauer standing behind this one. And Steven Dos Santos will be waved back onto the pitch, so they'll have their 2 big guys in the penalty area. Bruna's delivery takes a deflection, headed away by TFC2. Comes back out, Eddie Edward looks to head it forward. Again, that one cleared away by the captain, Mitchell Tainter. Back in possession, Gerardo Bruna. And Ottawa will keep possession on the upcoming throw, as we have a look at our 3 keys to an Ottawa victory here tonight against Toronto FC2. Key number 1, score, and score first. This really is honestly the only stat that matters in tonight's game for Ottawa, and and Ottawa is unbeaten in 7 matches this season when they score the opening goal. Carl Howard's delivery in there looking for Tucker Hume. That one will be headed away. DeSantos gets a touch to it. Now Luer looks for Andre Campbell. Keep it in play. Swings this one back in. And Campbell has won Ottawa their second corner of the match as we look at key number 2. Show your experience. Fury FC are the older side and have much more experience and need to take advantage of that. And key number 3, feed off the crowd and send them home happy. Over 6,500 expected in attendance here tonight. Gerardo Bruno delivers this one through, and that header punched well over the bar. But a good win by Tucker Hume to get to that ball first for Ottawa Fury FC. Unable to find the target as he was surprisingly left very unmarked in the penalty area.
Yeah, Tucker Hume has an ability to do that, Graham. He kind of sneaks in. He's the obvious man to mark when you're marking up before a corner or set piece as the opposition, but he always seems to find a way to just create that 6 inches or 1 foot of separation from a defender to allow himself to get kind of that free header. I mean, that was essentially a free header off a corner, which you wouldn't think possible. Now, just to piggyback off your first point there, you said score and score first. On the flip side of this matchup, TFC2, when conceding first, 10 times, 10 losses. So really quite clear what Fury FC need to do. They have to be the aggressors. They've done that so far. Now it's about turning those half chances into an early goal.
Well, certainly in that case, you can say that the stats don't lie there. We'll see how that plays out throughout the course of this match. 12th minute remains 0-0. TFC2 looking to get something going here. That delivery blocked. And now TFC2 will have their first set piece of the match coming up on the corner after Gerardo Bruno deflected that shot out behind the goal.
And again, we see that left flank for Ottawa Fury FC. Campbell likes to roam up, and we saw it on that through ball from Luer, but somebody has to drop in and fill that gap if Campbell roams forward this evening.
Deep delivery. Callum Irving calmly goes up, but a flag goes up. Looks as though the ball had curled out of play. So Callum Irving making his 22nd straight start. That includes the 4 matches that he started for Ottawa in the Canadian Championship. Tucker Hume going up for that one. Doesn't win the header. Falls to Eddie Edward. Edward pushes that one out wide. Luer into the middle. Bruno finds Tucker Hume. Can he turn? Hume tried to lay it off for Gerardo Bruno, and that one will be cleared into touch for an Ottawa throw. Bruno under pressure. Turn still going. Bruno looking for an option. Forced all the way back. McElhaney to Eddie Edward. Edward runs forward looking for Hume. Takes a deflection. Now Luer on the right side. Into the middle for Carl Howard. Howard tries to feather this one through. Will it fall to DeSantos? Takes a deflection off of Brandon Aubrey and into the waiting arms of goalkeeper Mark Pace.
And it's interesting as we've seen both Irving collecting that corner and now Pace with the excellent reflex save and then corralling that and preventing any danger on that kind of awkward clearance there from Aubrey. But 2 of the USL Eastern Conference's best goalkeepers, for my money, in this matchup here, Graham. You've got Callum Irving, who might be the signing of the season for Fury FC out of Rio Grande Valley FC last year. And then Mark Pace, who in limited action has made highlight reel save after highlight reel save for this TFC2 squad. Really nice goalkeeper matchup here this evening.
Carl Howard to take the throw, and this was from almost the same spot where he tossed one in their last match against Rochester that saw Tucker Hume head home the equalizer. Howarth with the long throw. That one over top of everyone. Fighting for the loose ball in the box. It'll come out to Gerardo Bruno. Bruno plays it back to Andre Campbell, still inside TFC2's half. This one delivered into the penalty area, going up for the header. Comes back out. Luer finds Roseboom, now Howarth. Howarth on the right side tried to put one into the penalty area for Ramon Martin Del Campo, who had made his run forward. Campbell for Ottawa. Switches it over to the right side for Eddie Edward. Edward going to get round his man here. Edward still going, but has forced that one to be knocked into touch. Ottawa maintaining possession on the throw. 16th minute, 0-0 at TD Place between Ottawa Fury FC and Toronto FC2.
Good start, I think, overall for the Fury, Graham. They've certainly been the aggressors and have had the best chance thus far when they forced pace into a nice reflex save.
Howard's throw right in to mark pace as both Steven DeSantos and Tucker Hume were there.
That's what having two big men can do for you, Graham. Not only can you crowd the keeper, but you can leave somebody else to handle a defender, and that's what Fury FC gained from having both big men in the lineup. Sure, they might lose a little bit in the pace or creativity department, but both of them are pretty decent finishers, and they just present such an excellent aerial threat. They're almost doubly as effective when the other is in the starting 11.
Well, and Mark Pace at 6'4" is certainly going to challenge the big bodies of DeSantos and Hume when they're looking for those balls, especially in the 6-yard box.
A couple basketball-sized bodies in the Toronto 6 there.
Brought down by DeSantos, gives way to Eddie Edward. Edward finds the option. The captain, Lance Roseboom, feathers it out to the right side for Edward. First touch delivery, and that one will be headed away and will go out for Ottawa's third corner of the match here in the 17th minute.
Yeah, it was a nice job by Brandon Aubrey just clearing the danger there on a pretty good ball in, and we saw Andre Campbell starting this match off on the left flank creating, and now it's Eddie Edward who's really grown into this match through a quarter hour on this right flank. And well, when you're facing a TFC2 side with three at the back, it's a young three outside of Mitchell Tainter, not much in the way of pro experience, and Tainter himself only has 1 year, so you got to test them on the flanks.
Bruna's delivery to the near post, that one headed away. Both Bruna and Roseboom look to chase this one down. Roseboom goes up for the header. But that one out of reach of anyone in red and into touch for a TFC2 throw. Of course, Ottawa in their full red kit this evening. TFC2, their white jerseys, blue shorts, and white socks. Ottawa attacking left to right, TFC2 attacking right to left, and they're with possession now inside the Ottawa half. Work back into their own half. Pressure coming from DeSantos. Gerardo Bruna mishit that one, and Ottawa certainly would have been away there as both Howard, DeSantos were breaking down that right side with Hume in there for support.
And that's the thing about Bruno that I think has frustrated, whether it's coaches, teammates, or fans here with Fury FC, is that we know he has the touch, we know he has the vision, but he just has a tendency to rush some of his decisions in the midfield, and you'd like to see him take that extra split second on the ball to survey, because you know he can pick out a great pass. He just hasn't consistently shown it thus far in 2017.
Liam Fraser in possession now, plays that one out to the right side for Toronto. Hundle tries to cut inside. Del Campo wins it back for Fury FC. Del Campo still going. Good battle there down the left side. And that one knocked into touch. Ottawa maintaining possession inside their own half.
Again, you can see this TFC2 side, Graham. What they're going to try and do is maintain their shape at the back and through the midfield, and then what they're going to try and do is burn Fury on the counter, much the same way we saw Luca Uccello kind of nab a goal in the 1-0 defeat in Durham a couple of weeks ago. They're just going to try and pick the chances that Fury give them. But as of right now, through the first 20-odd minutes of this match, it's pretty difficult for me to see TFC2 scoring from open play. It's going to be a set piece or a bad giveaway that's going to lead to a counter, because right now Fury look very sharp at the back.
DeSantos still going after a good run there. Luboyera back to DeSantos. DeSantos looks for an option, finds, just out of the reach of Andre Campbell. Oh, he would have been home free if he was able to get a touch on that one. Ottawa still going here. Bruna, can he get a cross through? In right through the 6-yard box and out the other side. Tucker Hume unable to connect with that one. And that will go into touch for a Toronto throw. Some great ball movement from Ottawa there. Howarth finds Gerardo Bruna, and a great delivery through the 6-yard box, about a yard ahead of the outreached right foot of Tucker Hume.
And there's that ability to serve in a nice ball from Bruna. It was perfectly weighted through the 6 and about a foot out of the reach of Tucker Hume.
Soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit NikeSoccer.com. And a reminder for fans to stay up to date on the latest USL news and information from around the league. Tune into USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern on Sirius XM FC channel 85. And also don't forget Sirius XM FC will air the USL Game of the Week. Please check USLsoccer.com for dates and times. Carl Howarth in possession. Inside Toronto's half. Gives way to Eddie Edward, trying to work his way down that right side. That one rolls off his right foot and into touch. TFC2 will take over. Long ball played forward. Awkwardly brought down by Ricardo John, but into possession of Ottawa. Now it's Shane McElhaney, and we should send our congratulations out to Shane and his, well, now fiancée Orlaith. They were recently engaged during that break that Fury FC enjoyed. So all the best to those with their upcoming nuptials. Dos Santos delivers this one through the 6, and that one just in behind Tucker Hume, and will roll out the far side near the corner flag for a TFC2 throw.
Another great job of serving a good ball, and Dos Santos curls that right through the heart of the 6, and again, Hume just unable to stick a boot on that, but it really feels like it's coming for Fury FC. They're exploiting the flanks very well, and I think TFC2 might want to think about not a change in formation, but a change in mentality here as they're giving up a lot down the flank.
Actually, an Ottawa throw on the far side. Howarth into Andre Campbell. Gets it under control, delivers this one in. That one headed away again by Mitchell Tainter. All the way back inside the Ottawa half. Really like the game that we've seen from Aake Luboyera, the Ugandan, in his Fury FC debut here this evening. Howard tries to let this one off for Andre Campbell. That one just out of his reach, and Julian Dunn will get in the road to shepherd that one out for a goal kick. 23rd minute here at TD Place, 0-0 between Ottawa and Toronto.
Yeah, Luboyera, a really interesting signing, kind of came through the academy, played in the PLSQ last year, semi-pro league, and he's got a couple of under-20 caps for Uganda, so he is on the international radar. He is a guy that is coming in. He's going to provide a bit of pace today on the right flank, and we've seen him strike a couple of good balls as well. And I think him, Adonijah Reed, you look at some of these players for the Fury, and it's a promising next generation coming through for Paul Dalglish's side.
Well, speaking of promising young players, Tyler McDonald and Jenner Mosier will talk about a very promising young player here in Canada, Alfonso Davies, who won the Golden Boot at the Gold Cup. But here's an opportunity for Ottawa now. Carl Howarth takes the effort. That one blocked by Mitchell Tainter. He had Tucker Hume to his right, and a hard challenge there on Carl Howarth from behind, and he's incensed. And Ottawa will win a corner here. And Pierre-Luc Lausier will speak with Mitchell Tainter. Rather make that Brandon Aubrey after it goes right up the back of Carl Howarth.
Oh boy.
No card on the play.
But again, on that sequence, Graham, we saw Dunn beat by Howarth on the left flank, and what that created was a virtual 4-on-2 for the Fury. That's the danger of playing a young 3 at the back if you're TFC2, and they almost got burned there by Howarth.
Gerardo Bruna set to take the corner for Ottawa from the far side. Delivers this one in, going up for the header, and it's got it! Oh, he's done it in his debut of Aake Luboyera! Oh, you can't script it any better than that, and Fury FC in the 25th minute take the 1-0 lead.
Well, Graham, to be frank, TFC2 have struggled immensely on virtually every ball into their own 6, 18, whatever you want to call it. They've struggled with balls from the flank, and this time it's a beautiful service from Gerardo Bruna, and just an unmarked Luboyera gets right in front of, I believe it was Sean Hundal. The striker was back defending on the corner, but unmarked, he just snuck right in front of the big TFC2 striker, and just a clean header, no chance for Mark Pace, and you could really feel that coming. Now the question is, what happens next for Fury FC? They have the lead. They've been dominating. I'd like to see them continue to be on the front foot and surge forward here. TFC2 very vulnerable through the first 25 minutes of this match.
Well, it's always nice when you can nick one early, especially inside the first 25 minutes of a match. And now Again, they come pressing again. That ball looking for Tucker Hume, knocked down by Mitchell Tainter. Osorio tucks it back for Tainter. Long ball forward. That one out of the reach of Aiden Daniels.
And that's what TFC2 is going to have to try and do to create any kind of chances. As there you get another look at that fantastic header from Luer. And you see the celebration. He's pumped. The Ugandan under-20 international with his first goal in his first match as a member of Fury FC. And Graham, what a bright future that young man has. And scoring on your pro debut really doesn't get much better than that.
Sanchez's touch just gets away from him there. Dunn tries to play it out wide, intercepted by Gerardo Bruna. Andre Campbell down that left side. Campbell trying to cut inside, goes back outside, delivers this one through. And a good defensive challenge there by Mitchell Tainter to block that one, and that one will go out for yet another Ottawa corner. Now their 5th of the match.
TFC2 really struggling on those flanks, Graham. I've mentioned it. Anthony Osorio and I believe it was Dante Campbell are the two wide midfielders. Just haven't done a good enough job tracking back.
Bruna's delivery. One cleared away. Won't come right back to Bruna, but TFC2 only able to clear. Roseboom's touch a bit heavy. Andre Campbell tracks back. Plays it all the way back to Callum Irving at the top of his own 18. 27th minute at TD Place, 1-0 Fury FC leading. The 25th minute goal by Aake Luboyera in his Fury FC debut. Hume heads this one forward, finds Carl Haworth, his touch just a bit heavy beyond Dunn, but DeSantos was there forcing Dunn to poke that one away, and it goes into touch near the corner flag on the far side.
And not the first time we've seen Dunn struggle with the 1v1 matchup, as he almost got caught pushing up there. Did well to push it out for a corner, but again, Dunn's youthful inexperience has been exposed a little bit here in the opening half hour in Ottawa.
Carl Haworth with the long throw. That one over the head of Del Campo. Served back in by Bruna. There's a header from Hume. That one won't trouble Mark Pace, who catches that one a couple yards off his goal line. So for Fury FC, this is their first match in 14 days. For Toronto, on the other hand, it's their 3rd match in 9 days. Of course, coming off that 2-0 loss midweek to the Rochester Rhinos. Andre Campbell now on the goal line, tries to deliver this one through. That one over the head of everyone, finds Luboyera, the goal scorer. Over to Carl Haworth. Sorio gets that touch to knock it away. Now Eddie Edwards steps up for Ottawa to Luboyera. Cuts into the middle. Luboyera still going. Luboyera challenge down from behind. Official waves it off and play carries on. TFC2 in possession here. Long ball played forward. That one out of the reach of Sean Hundle. And into touch for an Ottawa throw.
Hundle has been asked to pretty much do it all up front for TFC2 in this match, Graham. He's an 18-year-old out of Brampton. And quite frankly, he's going to have a tough task ahead of him because he hasn't had service. He hasn't had a touch in the offensive half through the first 30-odd minutes of this match. And for TFC2, they just look out of sorts compared to the compact, defensively sound side that we saw in Durham earlier this month in their 1-0 win. Right now, they look like an under-23 team playing against a professional side. That's what the opening half hour of this match has been. Now it'll be interesting to see what changes they make here tactically or personnel-wise to try and get back in this match.
Mark Pace is the only player in the starting 11 tonight that's over the age of 23. He's 25, everyone else 22 years of age or younger.
That's the incredible thing. Mitchell Tainter wearing the captain's armband in his 2nd pro season at age 22.
Steven DeSantos nifty backheel for Luboyera. That one takes a deflection. I think that was off of Brandon Aubrey. Cleared into touch. Ottawa with another throw coming here. Great backheel, and Luboyera, no hesitation, tries the effort on the first touch. Campbell to Roseboom. Del Campo now for Ottawa. Captain Lance Roseboom. His 48th career match for Ottawa Fury FC.
It's been one-way traffic so far in this match, Graham, but you do want to see Fury FC just nick that second one before half to really, I don't want to say put this one to bed with the full half to go, but a second goal would certainly solidify any kind of three-point effort here this evening, and they've had the chances. It's just a matter of being efficient and not letting TFC2 hang around in this match.
Shane McElhaney forced back to Callum Irving. Irving to Roseboom. Now McElhaney to Luboyera. Good first touch, now finds Carl Howarth in the middle. Howarth trying to find a seam here. Howarth still going. Back in for Luboyera in the penalty area. Good win there by Brandon Aubrey to take possession back. Now to make that, I think it was Liam Fraser, my apologies, who came back to help out. Knocked that one into touch, but again, Carl Howarth really testing those arms and shoulders out with the throw-ins here tonight. He'll try another long one here. Falls now to Lance Roseboom. Back out to Howarth. Howarth cuts into the middle. Howarth still going. Comes to Bruna. Bruna to Howarth. Back to, looking back for Bruna. And a good defensive play there to have it knocked away as TFC looked to counter here. First person back there was Shane McElhaney. Very aware of Ricardo John and where he was. Julian Dunn plays it out wide. Back to Dunn. Now Brandon Aubrey. Osorio. Get into the middles for Daniels, plays it out wide. Back in for Daniels. Daniels looking for an option, whips it over to the near side. Finds Osorio. Osorio delivers this one into the penalty area. That one knocked down. And now cleared away by Howarth. Brought down by Hume into the path of Steven DeSantos. Waits for Carl Howarth to catch up. Finds Howarth now into the middle. Has some room to run. Howarth has Luboyera in space on the far side and gets it to him. Luboyera cuts wide. Can he deliver one through? That will be blocked, but Ottawa with yet another corner coming here in the 34th minute as they look to add to the 1-0 lead.
Yeah, and a nice job of composed defending there from Dunn, Graham, as he's settled into this match, and so is the TFC2 trio at the back. But right now it's one-way traffic, and Fury FC have to find a way to take advantage of all the possession and all the half chances that they've had here. They've got to bury a second and really, get that insurance marker.
Bruna's delivery. And will be headed away by Liam Fraser. Falls to Howarth, quickly back to Bruna. Bruna, first touch delivery, looking for DeSantos, and that was Julian Dunn able to clear that one into touch for an Ottawa throw right near the corner flag.
Yeah, this much more like the Dunn that we saw a couple of weeks ago for the visitors, Graham, as he seems to have settled into the match. But again, Fury FC just creating so many issues off set pieces, corners, and crosses. Aerially dominant right now.
Howarth with the long throw. Just out of the reach of, falls now to Tucker Hume. Hume's shot, that one will take a deflection, and yet another corner for Ottawa Fury FC.
Well, and there you see Tucker Hume, just a men against boys is what it looks like right now, as he just absolutely strips the TFC2 player. Believe that was Sergio Camargo, as he just owned him. He just stole the ball and got a half effort off, created a corner, and you got to figure there's going to be a goal in this match for Tucker Hume the way he's looked.
Carl Howarth now takes this corner, delivered in, headed away by Brandon Aubrey. Comes back out for Bruna. Now Roseboom. McElhaney. Great ball down the line. Actually hits that one, and it will go into touch for a TFC2 throw. 36th minute, Ottawa still leading 1-0 on that 25th minute goal by Aake Luer in his Fury FC debut. The USL is one of the most prominent second division professional leagues in the world, featuring some of the game's top talent and rising stars. Stay up to date with all the latest league news and information by visiting www.uslsoccer.com and follow them on Twitter at USL. Reminder that Monday's Ottawa's premier soccer show looks at the world of soccer from our local club teams to the Ottawa Fury FC, the MLS, and the beautiful game across Europe and around the globe. It's Corner Kicks on TSN 1200 Mondays at 6 p.m. Foul called deep in the TFC2 half. Pace takes the free kick from inside his own half. Finds the head of Lance Roseboom. Camargo plays that one out wide. Camargo again in possession. Challenged there by Gerardo Bruna. Deflect off Bruna into touch for a TFC throw. Foul will be called against Lance Roseboom for the high boot, but more of a high knee really as he went up to challenge for that ball. Fury captain disagrees with Pierre-Luc Lozier's assessment of the play.
Gotta like the play, though, of Lance Roseboom and Gerardo Bruna back in kind of those two, not defensive mid, but classic box-to-box midfield types in this 4-2-3-1. Very effective and taking care of their own half first and foremost. Gotta like it so far from that midfield duo.
Free kick coming here. Delivered into the penalty area and completely unattested. Callum Irving able to catch that one, and now we'll try and peg it long, looking for Howarth and Luer, who jetted forward as soon as the ball went in to Irving's hands. Hard challenge there, ball won by Dos Santos. Looks like Camargo, who is down on the play and remains down. Howarth going forward now for Ottawa. Luer goes back to Eddie Edward. Now Lance Roseboom, the captain. Plays it across for Del Campo inside the TFC half. Now Gerardo Bruna. Bruna under pressure. Outlets to Andre Campbell. First touch cuts into the middle. Campbell, right-footed effort, finds Tucker Hume, knocks it down for Luer. His shot. That one is blocked. Eddie Edward first on the ball now for Ottawa. The captain Roseboom. He delivers this one in, looking for Hume. It falls loose, then to his feet, and then it's cleared away. A tough ask for Ricardo John to get there. First on it is Del Campo. Finds Campbell inside the TFC half, looking for Tucker Hume. Now a chance for Toronto to counter here. Camargo. Oh, he completely overhits that one, and Callum Irving will scoop that one up and quickly outlet it to Andre Campbell.
Graham, interesting to see and good to see if it's a positive if you're anyone related to the Fury here, but Luer already a focal point in the attack in his first match as a member of Fury FC. You saw, I believe it was Dos Santos, just lay that cross off for him, and boy, the way he struck that ball, that was not a young man who played PLSQ last year hitting that ball. That was a professional. That was a professional strike, and while it was blocked, it was a thunderous strike, and boy, oh boy, what a first half for him thus far in Fury colors.
Andre Campbell's delivery as he tried to cut back inside was met by a TFC2 defender, and that one will go out for yet another Ottawa corner. I believe it's now the 8th of this first half. 40th minute here at TD Place, 1-0 Fury FC leading on that 25th minute strike by Aake Luer. Bruna delivers this one in. Del Campo first under that for Ottawa. And no messing around there. That one just headed out for yet another Ottawa corner.
Now what I'm seeing on these set pieces from TFC2, Graham, is a lot of bodies in the box for the visitors, but little in the way of marking up.
Another header, that one falls loose, but Hume can't get to it in time. And yet another corner awarded to Ottawa here.
And again, you see TFC2 with 8 white shirts, white bodies in their own 6 essentially, but still Fury FC able to get ahead on a ball. They're outnumbered 2-1 by white shirts, and I don't know if it's a zonal marking or what, but it's not working right now for the visitors.
That one fell to McElhaney. He couldn't get his shot through. Del Campo brings it down. Now McElhaney there in support. Outlets to Carl Howarth. Howarth finds DeSantos. Rather make that Del Campo. Eddie Edward gets it over to his right and plays that one right through the 6. And it'll go out the back post and out by the far corner flag for a TFC throw. And Ottawa just giving Toronto fits right now, especially inside their own penalty area.
Well, and contrary to the last meeting between these two sides, a 1-0 TFC2 victory back on July 8th, Graham, this now looks like a professional team against a B side, a U23 side, an academy side, whatever you'd like to call it. It looks like a pro team against a U23 team right now.
Now a chance for TFC2 to counter here. There's a shot, and that one missing well wide, but rattling off one of the support posts behind the goal of Callum Irving.
And that's where TFC2 do pose a threat. As you see, they come away 2-on-2. It's a nice outlet feed there from Sean Hundle, and he gets it across over. And, well, Ricardo John got a lot of leg on that shot, but obviously steered it into the netting. That is, for my money, Graham, if this first half replicates itself in terms of possession and control of this match in the second half, that's the only way TFC2 is going to score in this match, is if they catch Fury FC on a counter, if the Fury back four makes a glaring mistake, because right now they're not creating anything from the course of play.
Camargo with a good run forward here now for Toronto. Outlets to Hundle, under pressure from Eddie Edward. Sean Hundle. Osorio. Out wide, can they get a delivery through here? Campbell with a good block, and now the race is on. Dunn. Back in possession here. Some good footwork now by Toronto FC. Unable to get a delivery into the penalty area, but knocked into touch for a Toronto throw. Del Campo gets a touch, and he'll let that one go out for a goal kick. 44th minute here at TD Place with halftime looming. Ottawa still leading 1-0 on that 25th minute goal. And as you mentioned not long ago, Carlos, it'd be great if they could find a way to add a second before halftime just to kind of cement the effort that they put forth in this opening half.
Absolutely, and we saw it with TFC2 having that little bit of offensive half possession in the form of Sergio Camargo, and it would be, all it takes is one play. TFC2 haven't created a legitimate scoring chance in this match, but as we know all too well from this 2017 Fury season, Graham, all it takes is one. All it takes is one. We saw it with the Rhinos when they were in as the last opponent, a 1-1 draw. They scored on their one chance of the match. And for Fury, until they score a second and have that breathing room, I don't think anyone's going to be too comfortable.
Lance Roseboom tried to find Carl Howarth, who had made a breaking run right down the middle. Just overhit that one, and Mark Pace was at the top of his 18, waiting for that one. As we hit the 45th minute, we're told that there will be 1 minute of additional time given in this opening half as it comes to Steven DeSantos. DeSantos in a battle with Liam Fraser. Campbell to Bruna. All the way back for Shane McElhaney, just inside his own half. Outlets to Eddie Edward. Just a bit too casual with that touch there, rolls into touch, and Toronto FC will try and strike here late in this first half in stoppage time. Miss pass there, finds the boot of Steven DeSantos, and Fury FC are away here. Comes to Carl Howarth. Howarth looking for his first of the season, cuts inside! Oh, and just deflected. To take a deflection, oh, he just mishit it. Carl Howarth with a great feed from Steven DeSantos, cuts back into the middle, but unable to beat Mark Pace as he just missed the near post.
And again, you see Julian Dunn just burned on the cutback from Howarth, but you've got to do better than that. All alone from about 10, 12 yards out with Pace rushing you. Again, how many opportunities can you pass up before you are made to regret it?
Well, and that will bring to close the opening 45 minutes here at TD Place. But Carlos, I think everyone in red is going to be very pleased with how Ottawa performed in that opening 45. You couldn't ask for a better debut from Aake Luer, who got the goal to put Ottawa ahead 1-0 through 25 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. Luer very active on that right flank, kind of functioning as an attacking rover almost, if you will. And I think Fury have to be very happy with how they played, need more efficiency in front of net.
So continuing on where they were talking with Coach Paul Dalglish about the performance of Luer, when a player makes a debut like that, you just want to do all the simple things right. And he did that. We were talking about him probably after 20 minutes about just the start that he had in his Fury debut. And then the goal came, and then you just saw how that progressed further forward and how he's such an intrinsical part of Ottawa's attacking unit in that opening half.
Absolutely, and I think we can all agree that one of the things that was missing for the Fury in the first half of this season, Graham, was that offensive catalyst. Whether it be a finisher, a creator, just that one extra body that has a little bit of offensive flair. It appears through one half, small sample size albeit, that Luer will give them that. Maybe not for 90 minutes, but absolutely on a regular basis. Huge positive for the Fury from an overall very positive first half.
Well, that was the decisive point of the opening 45 minutes here at TD Place. Aake Luer scoring in his Fury FC debut. Ottawa Fury FC 1, Toronto FC 2-0. This is Ottawa Fury FC Soccer.
I know it's kind of weird, but I used to play baseball as the first sport I played. And the only reason I started playing soccer is because I have two older brothers. And they, I guess, kind of bullied me into starting to play soccer. And so my mom was devastated. She loved to watch me play baseball. But dealing with the peer pressure from my older brothers, I decided to quit and started to play soccer. And I guess it turned out all right. At the time, I didn't know I was going to enjoy it so much or be all right at it because I enjoyed playing baseball. I was decent. Just when I decided to stop and I started to play soccer and I realized that I had a love for the sport, it just kind of took off and I didn't really miss baseball or anything about it from that point on. When I was in the MLS, I unfortunately didn't get an opportunity to play that much, but the information that I learned has carried me to this point today. I think without that, I probably wouldn't have been able to last this long. But being on the outside of the pitch, looking in, I learned a lot from the veterans on the team, and they taught me a lot how to act on and off the pitch to add longevity to your career. My parents They worked extremely hard, and without them putting in all the effort from when I played youth soccer, it would have never been possible. I owe everything to them. They're always supporting me no matter what I do, and you hear it during the games. So for me to become a professional soccer player and to come home and to play well, it's kind of me repaying them for everything that they've done for me. And nothing makes me happier than during the games when you hear that Eddie, Eddie, Eddie chant. I never really knew where I was going to go with soccer. I enjoyed it. My teams traveled all over. We were pretty decent, but I didn't know what the end result was going to be. So I just kind of tried to enjoy it as much as possible. And as soon as things started to get competitive, I obviously started to work harder and harder, and then it became clear that, hey, like, you can have a future in this if you work hard at it. And obviously I'm fortunate enough to be sitting here today with the Fury crest on.
Well, welcome to the Ottawa Fury FC halftime show. We're taking a look at what's trending. Jenna Mosier alongside me, Tyler McDonald. It's nice to hear Eddie Edward there on the player profile as well. His family cheering very loud on the north side stands. And as someone who wants to grab another Team Canada spot, and speaking of Team Canada, wrapping up the Gold Cup in general as a tournament this past week with Jamaica just falling to the United States in what was a thrilling game in my mind. Jamaica just coming up short again. Heartbreak for them for 2 straight tournaments. But the main story was Canada's Alphonso Davies, the young player of the tournament, and also wins the Golden Boot. I mean, how about that? The 16-year-old just shining for Team Canada.
Yeah, and it's always great to be that young and make such an impact nationwide. What they're going to have to do, though, is they need to now clinch him. They need to almost treat him like the women's program treated Christine Sinclair. Christine Sinclair was just as young when she went into that program, and they immediately made her the face of Canada soccer. And what it did was it gave a lot of young women a chance to look up to someone and get really excited about soccer. And that's what they're going to have to do with Alphonso. Get him out there, get his face out there, get him meeting young players, going to camps, and that way these young people can look up to someone and they can get excited about soccer, just like young players get excited about hockey when it comes to Crosby.
And Vancouver's done a great job of developing him through their academy a little bit when he came over here from Liberia, and now playing in the MLS, a normal MLS spot with the Vancouver Whitecaps. This is someone that is going to be a star, not only obviously for Canada and one of the best players to come out of Canada, but someone in Europe that's going to make an impact for themselves. I can see him going to the Premier League by the age of 18. That's how good this kid could be.
Yeah, and the one thing though is when you are that young, when you are 16 years old, you have to factor in a lot of things, like your future longevity in the sport. You have to balance out how much you're playing, because you don't want an injury, a long-term injury, to creep up on you. Right now, I think he's just probably focusing on MLS and, making a waves in Vancouver. The Whitecaps have an incredible program, training from the top all the way to the young ones. So if he can become, a staple within the Whitecaps program, a staple with the men's Canadian program, then we're going to be seeing a lot of him, and we'll finally get our first male Canadian soccer star.
It was nice to see Team Canada do so well in the Gold Cup first quarterfinal in what seemed like forever, really. And in general, for Soccer Canada, of course, this is something that the women's program gets so much media attention on, but the men's program, not as much. And that has to do with success. What does the success of this Gold Cup, getting the quarterfinals, falling to Jamaica, unfortunately for Canada, do for soccer here in Canada? Does it bring that hype back a little bit?
It is, and you have to understand it's not something that's going to happen overnight. All of a sudden, soccer isn't going to become Canada's #1 sport. It is a gradual process. So when you have players like Alphonso Davies, who's going to come in and become the star, that's only going to help the sport. And hopefully we see it gradually start to grow over the next 5 to 10 years. Because you know what? The women's program didn't have immediate success either. It needed to build, it needed to grow, and they were fortunate enough to have some incredible players to help them get to where they are now.
And it was a fantastic Gold Cup final at the end with Jamaica, a heartbreaking loss to the United States. Fury FC looking not to have heartbreak themselves in this second half, as Toronto FC looks to come back in the second half. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, Graham Ivory, Carlos Verde on the call in the second half. This is Ottawa Fury FC Soccer.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Find fun activities to do, like boating and biking, or camping and hiking, plus much more. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Attendance numbers have been impressive, fan bases have been strengthened, and the newest club to join the USL has been announced. In a press conference, USL President Jake Edwards announced Fresno Football Club is set to join the league for the 2018 season.
It's great to finally be here, representing the league and our Chief Executive Officer, Aake Papadakis, as we welcome another fantastic professional soccer club into our league and a fantastic new community into our USL family. A great pleasure on behalf of Aake Papadakis and the USL family to officially welcome Fresno into the USL for the 2018 season.
Well, good morning, everybody. I'd like to start off by saying that the World Cup is coming next year, and so is Fresno Football Club. Good timing. When people come to a game, I'm hoping to pack this stadium out, that they're going to look forward to it, they're going to get behind the team. It's going to be a great thing for the city of Fresno.
Really need your support to make this work. I think that the turnout today's shown that the passion's there. I'm excited about it. Go FFC. Let's go.
Fans can find more information and reserve season tickets at FresnoFC.com. For USL Network, I'm Morgan Conklin.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing.
I was very independent and thought I could take care of myself. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels.
After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak.
Meals on Wheels, coming to my door as someone who's housebound, having someone check on me, assures me that I'm not forgotten.
Meals on Wheels has given me a mode of freedom that I wouldn't have otherwise.
We're the clients.
We are the clients.
We are the clients of Meals on Wheels.
America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Highlights brought to you by Budweiser and Aake Luer. You cannot script it any better than that, Carlos, scoring in your club debut. And that was the difference through 45 minutes at TD Place. That goal in the 25th minute set up on the corner by Gerardo Bruna. And that perhaps is one of the key factors of that opening 45 minutes, the number of corners that Ottawa had, 10.
Well, you can run through all the stats, and Fury had 10 corners, which is unheard of. Who has ever taken 20 corners in one match, Graham? They also had 60% possession, which that has to be the first half of the Paul Dalglish era, where Fury have had 55, let alone 60% of the possession in any match. That just speaks to just how dominant they were in this first half. Toronto FC2 looking out of sorts, third match in 9 days. I don't know if it's a fatigue factor or if it's just a lack of professional experience, but right now they're being overrun by Fury FC.
Yeah, let's have a look at those first half stats brought to you by Rico, and of course you have the 10 corners, you have 61% possession for Ottawa, 14 total shots, and you look at the number that are coming from inside the penalty area as well. Very similar to what we saw back on July 8th in Toronto when Ottawa had more shots, more chances, everything. They just couldn't beat Mark Pace or the upright, and they're doing a good job of that through 45 minutes, but they need to get that second goal because while Ottawa has had the lion's share of the possession and virtually all the opportunities tonight, they can ill afford to rest on the 1-goal lead when you do have some talented players, some fast players, some energetic players. Even though this is their 3rd match in 9 days, Ottawa needs to get that 2nd goal and try and even build further from there.
Well, what TFC2 do is they sit back and basically will try and get whatever opportunities Ottawa presents them with. We saw it with Andre Campbell towards the end of that first half when TFC2 started coming on a little bit, where Campbell ventured just a little too far up the left flank, and TFC2, we saw it with Camargo, where he was able to create an opportunity on the left flank just based on Fury being out of position, right? And so the one thing you do want to guard against if you're Fury FC, you gave up 0 scoring chances in the first 45, is don't gift TFC2 any even half chances, because they can make you pay. And as we've seen with Fury, so many 1-goal games, so many drop points, whether it's a draw that should have been a win or a loss that should have been a draw, they've got to maintain their defensive shape and not give TFC2 anything easy.
TFC2 looking to start right early here in the second half. A great challenge there by Eddie Edward to thwart that opportunity as TFC2 inside the opening 30 seconds push for an equalizer. A very well-timed challenge by the Ottawa native in a very dangerous area as Hundle slots it through there for Ricardo John, and Eddie Edward able to poke it away, and Callum Irving to smother the loose ball.
Yeah, it was a nice job by Hundle too, as you get another peek at your stats from the first half there. Pure dominance from Fury FC, but again, Graham, as you mentioned off the top, the only stat that matters, it's 1-0. TFC2 still within striking distance. Fury will look to rectify that issue here in the opening 15-20 minutes of the second half. I think if they can get an early goal in the first 10-15 of the second half, they should be home safe in this one.
Carl Howarth and Gerardo Bruna settle behind the free kick coming here for Ottawa. 30-plus yards out. Howarth looks favored to take. Delivers this one in, takes a one-hopper, but that one bouncing a couple yards wide of the near post of Mark Pace.
Yeah, it was a good effort by Howarth as he just tried to bend it into that bottom near side corner. Pace had it covered all the way, and that's one thing I've been really impressed with, is despite the youth, the inexperience, and the mass confusion within even the TFC2 6-yard box on aerial balls, Mark Pace, Graham, has just maintained his composure. He's barking orders. He's collecting every ball he's gone up for, essentially. No punches. It's all sure hands from him. Easily the bright spot of the first half of this match so far for Toronto, who have been, I think it's fair to say, pretty poor on the road thus far.
Soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit NikeSoccer.com. And fans, you can stay up to date with the latest USL news and information from around the league. Tune into USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern on Sirius XMFC channel 85, and also don't forget, Sirius XMFC will air the USL Game of the Week. Please check USLsoccer.com for dates and times. Toronto FC in possession inside their own half. Dante Campbell plays it back, long ball played forward, but the offside flag is up, and that one on Sean Hundle.
That was quite close. I mean, that was pretty much right in front of us here in the broadcast booth, but you know, Hundle has looked a lot more energetic here in the opening 3-4 minutes of the second half. He played that nice ball through to create that half chance right off the restart, and well, they're going to have to get him more involved here. I think he had a grand total of 1 touch in the offensive half in the first 45.
Well, I'm sure head coach Jason Bent and his assistant Chris Posniak had plenty to say to that squad, and you know, one of the points that you focused on in that first half, and we were talking about the number of corners that we had, is that there were times where you saw 6, 7, sometimes even 8 white shirts all inside the 6-yard box, but they were just inside the 6-yard box. There wasn't man-to-man coverage. You couldn't even say it was zonal coverage other than trying to just not allow anything inside your own 6, and that certainly allowed for a couple of free headers, including the goal from Lubuyera.
And Tucker Humes somehow managing to get unmarked as well. A hard tackle there.
TFC2 possessing the ball a lot better here in the second half and going down a little bit too easy there with Sean Hundle. That clearance goes into touch, and TFC2 will maintain possession at midfield.
Much better from the visitors in the opening 4.5 here in the second half, Graham. A lot more aggressive and just sure of themselves. The decisions they're making have been a lot better here.
Campbell in for Dunn. Brendan Aubrey forced back to Mark Pace in the TFC2 goal. Bit of a heavy touch there, and Mitchell Tainter had to chase that one down. Tainter working the line nicely going down that left side. Collides with Eddie Edward, and a foul will be called just inside the Toronto half. Should also note that we did get word that there was no yellow card to Steven DeSantos in that first half. That was kind of a mistaken effort by the official when brandishing the yellow card. That was just to Anthony Osorio, so he is the lone player on the yellow through 45 minutes. 51st minute here at TD Place. Ottawa Fury FC leading 1-0 on that first half goal by Aake Luboyera. But it's TFC2 that has had the lion's share of the possession here in the second half. Dante Campbell, one-on-one with Andre Campbell. Plays that one into the middle. Nifty touch there. Intercepted now by Gerardo Bruna. He's pulled down from behind. Advantage played in Carl Howarth now. Looking for an outlet. Still in possession here. Hard battle here with Liam Fraser, and finally gets the foul called.
Graham, one thing that I think is abundantly clear is that TFC2 is going for it right out of the gate, but Fury FC, for my money, in my opinion, much too defensive out of the gate here in the second half. They utterly dominated TFC2, exploited the flanks in the first half. I get you have a 1-0 lead at home, but this is a team that you utterly dominated statistically in the first half, and they're just sitting back and they're allowing TFC2 to get back into this game with meaningful possession. If I'm Paul Dalglish, I want to continue to push the pace the same way Fury did for the entire 45 minutes in the first half.
Howard tries to stretch pass forward, looking for Tucker Hume. That's intercepted. Now TFC2 are away again. Played out wide. Here's a delivery, completely mishit there. That one off the boot of Ricardo John. Looking for a foul in the middle. There was Aiden Daniels, who was knocked down after delivering that ball out wide to John.
But again, we see TFC2 in the first 7 minutes of this second half, Graham, have had more meaningful possession in the Fury half than they did in the entire first 45 minutes. And they've created a couple of half chances already. Now, if you're Ottawa, I think you have to try and get back on that front foot and assert yourselves the same way you did in the first half.
Steven DeSantos gets caught up there with Brandon Aubrey, who fell down trying to track that ball. TFC back again on the counter. Hundle into the middle. There's a shot from distance, and that one just missing high and wide. That one off the boot of Sergio Camargo, the Colombian.
Yeah, first time we've seen Camargo in quite some time, as we'll get another peek at it here. He just one touch, loads it up, and goes for that top right corner. No problem for Callum Irving, but again, Fury FC, a completely different team, much too conservative, much too passive for my liking here in the opening minutes of the second half.
54th minute, Ottawa leading 1-0. Hume brings that one down, falls to Lance Roseboom, pokes it back for Ramon Martin Del Campo, forced back to Callum Irving. Waiting at the top of the 18, returns it back to Del Campo. Plays this one over the top, that one out of the reach of Gerardo Bruna. Good second effort there by Bruna, but TFC still in possession. Liam Fraser. Aubrey, outlets to Julian Dunn. Into the middle for Osorio. make that Daniels. Daniels to Fraser. Looking for Camargo that time. Intercepted there by Roseboom, and he and Eddie Edward get turned around with each other, and TFC still in possession. Now it's Camargo. Cutting wide. Camargo still going. Gets around Eddie Edward. Hard challenge coming there from Shane McElhaney, and I think they've called the foul earlier on Eddie Edward just outside the penalty area. So TFC 2 now with a free kick coming from an acute angle. Certainly going to be tough to put it on target, but Camargo likely to take this as though it was a corner.
But it's incredible the change in the control, the flow of this match, Graham, from the first half to the first 10 of the second half. All TFC 2 in the first 10 minutes after they failed to get a shot on target in the first half.
Camargo with the low delivery, that one blocked, and now Ottawa look to counter. Bruna has Howarth on his right. Andre Campbell sprinting down the left side. Long ball from Howarth to central and bounces into the penalty area. Mark Pace quickly outlets it. Brandon Aubry now to Julian Dunn. Dunn through the middle, knocked down by Shane McElhaney. Looks like we'll have our first substitute coming up in the next break in play. Ryan Telfer is kitted out and ready to come in. Looks like he'll be replacing Anthony Osorio, we're hearing. Campbell, Luboyera, Hume, Howard back to Luboyera, looking for Hume. Unable to turn, Luboyera knocked down. Eddie Edward now continues down the right side. Cuts out wide, tries to deliver one through, takes a deflection, still in possession is Eddie Edward. The Ottawa native looking for an option, finds Luboyera. Roseboom, quickly to Bruna. Takes a couple touches, now to Eddie Edward, delivers one through. That one quickly snuffed out and cleared away. That will bounce into touch for an Ottawa throw, and we'll now see that substitute coming here for TFC 2. It will be midfielder Ryan Telfer, the 23-year-old Canadian, coming into the game for Anthony Osorio.
Osorio with a pretty quiet afternoon here on the road, did his part running and settled things down on that right flank defensively after a nervous opening half hour. Now, Ryan Telfer, an interesting guy. He's a striker. He can play out wide, and he's in his first professional season, spent last year with the semi-pro Vaughan Azzurri of League One Ontario, and scored on his debut in a 1-0 win over Phoenix Rising FC this season. Has failed to score since, 1 goal in 18 appearances, but they bring him off the bench. He's kind of that big, physical type of target man up front, and it's going to be interesting to see how Bent and company deploy him to try and equalize here on the road.
Howarth with a nifty pass, returning the favor to Luboyera. Now it's Bruna. To Aake Luboyera. To Howarth. Quick flick there to DeSantos. Puts his foot down on it, plays it all the way back into the midfield for Lance Roseboom. Turns off some pressure. Del Campo has moved forward. Doesn't have an option to his left, at least not in a forward role. Has to go back to Bruna, now to Roseboom. As TFC try and force Ottawa deeper into the midfield. Bruna now to McElhaney. Eddie Edward. Luboyera has some room. Takes a step over, tries to outlet it to DeSantos. Challenge there, Ottawa still in possession though. Eddie Edward cutting into the middle. He'll try one, and that one takes a one hop in front of Pace, down on one knee, easily collects that one.
Another nice effort though by Luboyera, Graham, is again kind of turning into the focal point of the Fury FC attack here in his debut with the first team, and it's pretty rare you see that. That has to really fire up coaches, teammates, and fans alike. As we get another look, he fed Eddie Edward, and Edward tried a curling effort on his weaker left foot. No problem for Mark Pace, as we're going to have another substitution.
So Ricardo John, the Trinidad and Tobago native, comes out in place of Malik Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson, another one of these players, Graham, we talked about it, coming up through the system, 6 youth caps for Canada, has played a handful of games with Toronto FC, 3 this year, mostly with TFC2 dating back to last season, and a product of their academy as well. So he is really following kind of the prototypical development pathway within TFC's organization, and it's going to be interesting to see how that works with the myriad soccer options that exist in terms of development pathways for different players in Canada. This team and the players on this TFC2 team now in its second year of existence are going to kind of be the dry runs almost for TFC as they try and establish kind of that academy culture here in Canada.
Well, while it was a promising start to the evening for Aake Luer, it looks like his evening is done as he's limping off the far sidelines. And Adonijah Reed will come into the match now in place of Luboyera. So another player making his Fury FC debut. Of course, coming over from FC Dallas. Fury FC signing the youngster.
One promising player comes off for another, and Reed, a guy that was a Generation Adidas draft pick there with FC Dallas, another player that, you know, Fury FC are going to be looking to include more in their plans going through the next year and a half here. Probably going to continue to come off the bench for the rest of his debut pro season, one would think.
That one just out of the reach of Steven DeSantos, cleared away. Carl Howarth over to track, as is Gerardo Bruna. Camargo has support to his right, trying to find a seam through the middle there. That one well read by Eddie Edwards, forced to head that one away, and TFC2 will now win themselves a corner here in the 62nd minute as they look to pull level with Ottawa leading 1-0.
And this might be, if I'm not mistaken, their first corner, as you see Camargo delivering a nice curling ball in second of the evening, pardon me, and well cleared there by Eddie Edwards, but again, much too passive through the midfield. Fury FC affording TFC2 way too much time on the ball. You give young players with talent time and space to think, they could make you pay.
Delivered into the penalty area. That one misses everyone in both red and white. TFC's 2 still in possession here. Whipped over to the near side. Liam Fraser, he'll try one well from distance. Takes a deflection and a great save from Callum Irving. I think it was Sean Hundle who got the last touch on that one, just in front of Callum Irving on that long effort.
Well, that's just a fantastic stop, Graham, as Hundle, not quite sure how he got in so clear, so close to Callum Irving, but the charging Fury keeper able to deny him on just a pretty little, they call it a drive-by deflection in hockey, and I think that's as close as you'll get in a soccer match. To a drive-by deflection from Hundle, and very nearly made them pay.
Delivery into the back post forces Mark Pace to climb the ladder and collect that one. Hearing that tonight's attendance will be 6,763. So a good crowd on hand at TD Place, and the offside flag is up there. Second sub of the match coming up now for Ottawa Fury FC. The last one was forced by an injury to Luboyera, but now Gerardo Bruna will give way for John Barden.
Barden, an interesting player coming off the bench here for the Fury. Graham, he's one of these UK-based players, native of Harrow, England. He's 24 years old, but similar to another former UK player that we saw here with the Fury back in 2014, and Nicky Patterson, the club's first ever signing, where UK-based, come up through an academy in England or Scotland or whatever it might be, but transition into the NCAA game. So Barden, a 4-year starter with the James Madison Dukes in NCAA Division 1.
Adonijah Reed takes an effort, claims for a handball, and now one will be called against the captain Lance Roseboom as it caught him just off the shoulder. Having a quick peek at some of the out-of-town scores across the USL. A big win for Charlotte earlier today. 4-0 winners over Bethlehem Steel. The Charleston Battery who will look to reclaim first place in the Eastern Conference as Charlotte has taken that over temporarily. They are 0-0 with Orlando City B through 53 minutes at home. FC Cincinnati home to Rochester, 1-1 there through 61 minutes. Richmond Kickers at home to St. Louis, trailing 1-0 through 66 minutes. Louisville City FC have just taken a 1-0 lead just before halftime over New York Red Bulls 2, who Ottawa is chasing for that 8th and final spot in the playoffs. Tampa Bay Rowdies also have a halftime lead, 1-0 over the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Colorado Switchbacks and Sounders 2 are 0-0 through 20 minutes. And Whitecaps 2 trailing 1-0 through 21 minutes. Later on tonight, 11 p.m. kickoff, Phoenix Rising home to the San Antonio FC, and Timbers 2 home to Rio Grande Valley Toros, also an 11 o'clock kickoff. Tomorrow, pair of matches, Smoke Park Rangers against Reno, and LA Galaxy 2 home to OKC Energy, and of course their parent club, the LA Galaxy, the new man in charge as Jiggy Schmidt takes over the LA Galaxy. Foul's going to be called there on Steven DeSantos, and it looks like he actually got the worst of it.
I think that's debatable. He went in pretty hard, and if we'll see it on the replay, I still think that Aubrey probably got the worst of that collision. But Dos Santos might be nearing the end of his night as well, Graham. We've seen him often lifted in the final 20-30 minutes of matches, and he's a big man. He carries quite a bit of weight just on that 6'4" frame to run for 90 minutes, and you almost wonder what Paul Dalglish might decide to do, whether he's going to pull Dos Santos off maybe for an extra defender or midfielder to try and solidify this win, as the trend in this second half would say, or would it be a straight swap for another attacker like a Sito off the bench?
Well, Sito is going to be the one coming off the bench as he's getting kitted out right now, and we'll likely see him in the coming minutes. Dos Santos trying to work his way forward, has knocked that one off Fraser and into touch for an Ottawa throw. Adonijah Reed finds Carl Howarth, nifty pass back to Reed. Reed brought down, and there'll be a free kick here coming just on the cusp of the 18-yard box here in the 68th minute, and expect to see Carl Howarth settle behind this one.
Well, it's an excellent job by Reed getting body position there and just drawing the foul. That's a very professionally drawn foul from Reed. He picks the ball up, one touch, positions the body, and forces Liam Fraser into the foul. And as you said, this is a very dangerous spot. Mark Pace will be looking at this as an opportunity to make an athletic save. Carl Howarth is going to see this as a chance to go for highlight of the week. And obviously a chance to try and solidify the 3 points here, which I think it's fair to say Fury probably wished they'd done back in the first half, given TFC2's pushback here in the second half.
Well, they've got 5 men in the wall, might even be adding a 6th just off to the right of the wall. Andre Campbell also in there. Howard sends this one through, takes a deflection off the wall, and that will see Ottawa earned yet another corner.
Yeah, Howarth just not quite able to get it over, and you often hear set piece takers when it's from so close, 18 to 22 yards, they say it's tough to get it up over the wall and then dip back down to get it on target, and that effort from Howarth just unable to get it over the wall.
Howarth to take the corner. Delivers this one right into the middle. That one headed away. Barton heads it back into the penalty area. Can it fall to Tucker Hume, and he awkwardly tries to get his boot around it, but sends that one high and wide of the goal. And now we're going to see Ottawa's third and final substitution here in the 69th minute. Sito coming into the game in replace of Tucker Hume.
Yeah, Sito, another one of these players, European-based, European-bred, if you will, in terms of his soccer, but has ended up right here in Ottawa at age 28, plying his trade for the Fury. Spent the past 2 seasons in Iceland with Filker and IBV. Also, former San Jacinto College player as well. Provides a lot of creativity up front. For my money, might have one of the best touches, some of the best vision in the offensive third amongst Fury's roster. Now, quick update about Ryan Telfer. He has since transitioned from where he started the season at striker to being a left back. So his substitution was a left back for left back, essentially, although he could push up if TFC2 are going to try and push forward here in search of an equalizer. But it was a left back for left back switch off the bench.
It looks like Akeem Andrews will be the third and final substitute coming up for TFC2, and he is a forward. As now it's Ottawa looking to counter here. Carl Howarth can't get the ball through. Still maintains possession, finds Lance Roseboom with a last effort touch. Eddie Edward now to John Barden. Barden back to Del Campo. Outlets to the left side to Andre Campbell. 71st minute at TD Place. Fury FC leading 1-0 on that first half goal by Aake Luboyera. Sito still going. Can he get a shot away here? And that one, a last-ditch effort by Brandon Aubrey to come across and block the attempted shot on goal by Sito. He leads the team in scoring with 4 on the season, as he was denied an opportunity for his 5th there, and now the 12th corner of the match for Ottawa, and the third and final sub coming up for Toronto FC 2. Akeem Andrews coming in place of Sergio Camargo.
Yeah, Andrews is a guy that we saw a couple of weeks ago when Fury FC played down in Durham. He's been capped 4 times by the Trinidad and Tobago national side, and senior side, I should say. He's 21, so a guy with a very bright future. Played his academy soccer with W Connection FC in Trinidad before moving to Toronto in 2017.
That delivery cleared away, and now Carl Howarth will take it again, this time on the throw.
Great touch by the ball boy down there, and he gets a nice round of applause.
Long throw in by Howarth, and Dunn heads that one away, but a foul called, I think, against either Del Campo or Dos Santos in the box. Either way, coming back for Toronto.
And they've got a bit of a cheer down there where the ball boy had a beautiful touch. Paul Dalglish might want to consider signing him up with a first touch like that as he laid it off for Howarth to take a long throw. But always nice to see that interaction here too at North American soccer, whether it's MLS, USL, formerly NASL here in Ottawa. There's always that connection between the players and fans. There's not as much separation here as there is necessarily in Europe.
Reed cuts it back to Howarth, and he finds Sito in space, and he punches it well over the bar. Wow, that would have been a gorgeous final touch had Sito found the back of the net on a great delivery from Adonijah Reed to spot Carl Howarth streaking down the left side, and an incredible first touch to find Sito.
And as positive as Luboyera's night was, Adonijah Reed is having himself a pretty good debut as well here in the second half. 2 very, very bright futures in Fury Red right now.
Here's Sito going again for Ottawa. As Dos Santos making the run through the middle, and Sito's effort again blocked by Brandon Aubrey, out for the 13th corner of the match for Ottawa.
Well, you can see what Sito brings off the bench, Graham, and that's that pace, that ability to just create a hair's breadth separation. He's not as pacey as a guy like Romario Williams in Charleston necessarily, but he does have that ability to just create in the offensive third. Nice add off the bench here for Fury.
Howarth delivers, pace there to punch it away. Comes out to John Barden, who sends one on goal, but up and over the bar. Good effort from the Englishman from about 20 yards out.
Thought he might have actually had time to settle it down maybe, Graham, as TFC2 were a little tardy clearing their own lines, and Barden was unmarked at the top of the 18. Good opportunity there for the Englishman.
Good run here through the middle. Can TFC get something going here through Malik Johnson? Back to Liam Fraser. Delivery into the penalty area, headed away by Andre Campbell. He'll have time to get a second touch to clear it away. Now giving chase is Carl Howarth, but that will bounce into touch. Julian Dunn to take the throw. 75th minute at TD Place. Fury FC still leading by a 1-0 score. Mitchell Tainter now makes a sprint forward. Tainter still going. Eddie Edward got a touch to knock it away from his feet. Now Adonijah Reed. His effort knocked into touch for an Ottawa throw, still inside their own half.
Now for the visitors here, Graham, we all know it's not necessarily about wins and losses. I mean, it is, but it's not to the same degree as it is for an independent side like Fury FC. Now for Toronto FC 2, I think regardless of the final outcome of how this final 15 minutes plays out, this game has to be seen as a success for Toronto FC 2 because they've battled back against a fully senior, fully pro side.
Here's an effort from distance. He's got it! Oh, what vision from Sito, his 5th of the year. Catches Mark Pace well off his line. Buries one from distance, and that's the second goal that Ottawa needed. 2-0 through 76 minutes.
Sito, the Spaniard, doubles the lead, and just like that, I think it's fair to say that should be curtains on the night, but what an effort here. Sito, one touch, turns and chips Mark Pace. What an effort, and what creativity off the bench from Sito. All he does, one touch, turn, and that is fantastic. You are not going to see a better goal this season here in Ottawa as Sito, one touch, turn, and it's a golazo for the man from Galicia.
40-yard strike from Sito as he just turns. And what a rocket for his 5th of the season, and that all-important second goal that Ottawa's been looking for since Aake Luer gave them the 1-0 lead in the 25th minute.
Graham, that's one of the most exciting plays I've seen here in quite some time at a Fury match. And Sito, take a bow. That was incredible creativity with 3 TFC2 players around him from about 35 yards out. And a clean finish as well from the Spaniard. If you're going to solidify a victory, that's quite a way to do it off the bench for Sito and Fury FC.
TFC2 in possession now. It's Julian Dunn inside his own half. Liam Fraser not happy with kind of the suicide pass that he got from Dunn there, with both Sito and DeSantos barreling down on him, but TFC2 still in possession and trying to find a way back here. Played out wide, delivered into the penalty area. Going in for the header that was missed was Akeem Andrews, and now Ottawa on the counter here. It's Carl Howarth. Howarth slicing his way through the middle. Good challenge there. Liam Fraser coming back to help out. Just one touch too many from Carl Howarth, and Fraser able to dispossess him as Howard had to run through 4 white shirts. Done. Into the middle for Brandon Aubrey. Pings this one out wide. That one will be out of reach of Daniels. Fury FC, they've talked about it for, well, coming into the season, that TD Place had to be a fortress for them. They came into the match tonight with a record of 3 wins, 4 draws, and just 1 loss at home in USL action this season. Knocked down by McElhaney, played back to Callum Irving. They look to add a 4th win to that tally tonight, so not bad if you can only lose 1 of 9 at home, albeit I'm sure they would have liked to have turned a couple of those draws into victories, but Paul Dalglish was quoted as saying after the 1-1 draw against Rochester 2 weeks ago that the goal of this 4-game homestand was to claim 10 points. So with that 1 point earned there, ultimately having to win these next 3 games at home, and so far so good here tonight against Toronto FC 2.
Absolutely, and I think, you know, at times the finishing hasn't necessarily been as clinical as they would have liked, but defending has been quite stout aside from that 5-minute sequence here to begin the second half. And well, a couple of excellent debuts from Luer and Reed, so a lot to be excited about. Then again, the caliber of competition is going to be severely ramped up in the final 2 home games of this homestand.
Eddie Edward knocked down on the far side after he tried to alleviate the pressure by clearing it long, and he still remains down.
Yeah, Graham, Bethlehem Steel come into town on August 5th. It's a 7 p.m. start, so a week from today. And then 2 weeks from today, another 7 p.m. start as the red-hot Charlotte Independents come to town. And Graham, if they can beat Bethlehem and get to that 7-point mark, that's going to be one heck of a matchup against Charlotte, because the Independents right now are playing as good as anybody in North America in terms of their form. Doesn't matter what league. They have been unbeaten in how many months of action, and it's just incredible what the Independents have done down there.
Yeah, they haven't lost since, I believe, sometime in early May. Scary good how that team from Charlotte is right now. I'm sure Ottawa will be happy that Bethlehem will be coming into TD Place next Saturday, licking their wounds after being humbled at home 4-0 by Charlotte earlier today.
Good measuring stick as well going into that game against the Independents to see just where Fury stack up, because Charlotte's been doing that to a lot of teams. They're putting up 3, 4, 5 spots against everybody they play.
Ball given away. It's Carl Howarth now. Howarth from the top of the 18, and he just misses high and wide. It's the number 9 for Ottawa Fury FC. Still remains snake-bitten, looking for that first goal of the season. Has 3 assists. Still looking for that first goal.
Well, we heard Paul Dalglish speak about it in the first half, especially the first month of the season, Graham, where Carl Howarth was out. Steven Dos Santos was nowhere near fit. He was battling injury. They had a number of injuries, and now you start to see with Howarth in the lineup, with Dos Santos playing in his best role as kind of that second striker, as a rough-looking foul there down near the corner. But with all these guys back, Fury FC, a much better, much more, I don't want to say efficient, but much more creative offensive team as you get another look there. Howarth on his off foot still almost managed to curl it above pace to that near side. Carl Howarth, it's incredible when you consider the guy's journey from being a PDL player with the Fury, the original Ottawa Fury here, the Summer League team essentially, as there you get another look at that nasty foul from Roseboom. But to consider Carl Howarth's path, and I don't have to tell you this as a guy that's been around this club for, in this rendition and its previous iteration for 10 years, really a remarkable development from where he began with Ottawa Fury, the previous Ottawa Fury, to where he is now as one of the most dynamic offensive players in the USL.
Back to Howarth in a second as this free kick is delivered in. Barden gets the first touch to it, but TFC2 still in possession, and that shot sails high and wide across the face of Callum Irving's goal. And for Carl Howarth, it's his 83rd career match tonight with Ottawa Fury FC. He needs 3 goals to tie Tom Heineman for the most goals in club history. So he has been a mainstay, was the first ever Canadian signed by the club. Should also note that even before coming to Ottawa in the PDL, he featured for FC London and helped bring a PDL championship to that club. Here's Carl Howarth now, finds Sito. First touch, brings it down, gives way to Dos Santos, couldn't hit it cleanly. And bounces right to Mark Pace as Dos Santos just frustrated there, as you know, all 3 of those players in advanced roles for Ottawa are looking for that extra goal tonight.
And you can see Sito's reaction, smacking the ground in anger, because he felt he was ready to turn and one-time it with his red-hot left foot. Oh boy. Oh. How do you even go about describing what just happened on that near sideline? But here you get another look. Sito was ready to hit this, I think, turn and hit it with his left. Dos Santos tried to bump it ahead, and you can see the frustration from Sito trying to add to his team-leading goal total as Reed got tied up in all kinds of ways with Dunn there, and then Pace came flying out, and all hell broke loose on the near sideline there. Again, though, and despite the scoreline, I think this game does have to be seen as a success for TFC2.
Counterattack coming here for Ottawa. Dos Santos forced to put on the brakes, and now goes all the way back for Eddie Edward, and unfortunately I'm going to have to completely disagree with you on that one, because outside of saying that, hey, we've been completely outplayed in this game and we're only losing 2-0 at this very moment, and we had a couple of chances, especially inside the first 7-8 minutes of the second half, I don't see it. And there's no question that, you know, you want these players to develop, but winning is everything in this sport, and you got to learn to win. That's the thing. No different than what Ottawa's doing this year. Even with more veteran-like players, you have to learn to win games. You have to learn to close out games, all that type of stuff. And I don't think that they put their best foot forward in any means tonight. Sure, it's a challenge, your third match in 9 days. You're missing players that are up with the big club. You're missing players that are injured. You're missing a player to a suspension in Brendan Onkani, who picked up a red card in that match against Rochester. Certainly some bright spots. Individual efforts, I've been impressed, especially with the three youngsters in that back line, more so with Tainter and Aubrey. Individual efforts, great. But through 86 minutes now, I don't think they are going to leave with their heads high with this performance tonight.
I think you have to take their second half performance in context versus the fact they got outshot 14-0 in the first half. And TFC2, from minute 45 through about, minute 75 or so when Sito picked up that second mark, or 74-75, they had every means of tying this game. Did they deserve it? Maybe not. But the fact that an under-23 team comes on the road, gets absolutely dominated the way they did, and still comes out in the second half with that kind of fight, I think deserves commendation.
So Santos' effort takes a deflection, and they can certainly pat their goalkeeper, Mark Pace, on the back, because he's probably another factor as to why the scoreline is as it is, and also the fact that now with their 14th corner of the match, Ottawa has only scored on just the one. Had they been able to up that conversion rate, this one could be ugly. Howarth delivers this one in, almost curled it right into the goal, and Mark Pace had to be quick there to punch that one up and over the bar, as Carl Howarth with a nifty and dangerous curl on that one.
But again, we see TFC2 loading the box with 8 or 9 guys within their 6-yard box, but they're not marking anybody. They're merely standing there, and that's something that I think if they want to compete down the stretch in the USL, they're going to have to figure out, because right now they've got 9 stationary bodies not marking anybody on set pieces. And you're right, without Mark Pace, this probably is 4 or 5-0 just on the strength of some of these corners.
Well, Howard still going here, finds Lance Roseboom now. Roseboom back into the middle. Del Campo gets tied up with Howard. John Barton gives way to Eddie Edward. You know Carl Howarth wants this goal.
He's been so close on 3 or 4 occasions this evening, Graham, and he deserves one. He's been the biggest offensive catalyst through the 87 minutes for Fury FC. It's just a matter of whether the opportunity is going to present itself here.
So played over the top, knocked down by DeSantos, but no one in red able to get to the ball on the second effort, but now it finds Roseboom. Outlets to John Barden, now to Ramon Martin Del Campo. 88th minute here at TD Place. Fury FC continuing to lead 2-0. And the man who made it that way, currently in possession, it's Sito. Battle there with Liam Fraser, and that one will go out. And will it go out for a corner? Nope, be awarded a goal kick here.
Graham, you have to figure with the performance he's had, creating lots, and of course with that all-world effort to make it 2-0, but you've got to figure Sito is probably in the running for a regular spot in the starting 11. He hasn't been starting through the last month or so, but it seems like every time he's on the pitch, he makes something happen for Paul Dalglish's side.
Well, there's lots of competition, no question, and you have to like the game that you saw from DeSantos tonight, and even the effort from Tucker Hume, who scored a clutch equalizer 2 weeks ago for Ottawa. Sito does lead the team with 5 goals in regular season action. Now you have a guy like Luboyera who comes in and had an outstanding performance through 16 minutes. You like the effort you've seen from Adonijah Reed in the last half hour since he's come into the game, and you know that Carl Howarth is kind of 1 goal away from getting off the schneid and perhaps getting on a run. Long ball played forward, everyone trying to shepherd it out. Andre Campbell forced to take a touch. Nicely brought down by Sito, but unable to keep his balance. Now Brandon Aubrey. Into the middle for Keem Andrews. Adonijah Reed coming back the other way for Ottawa. Reed tries to slot it through for the captain, Roseboom. Comes out to Sito. Sito tries to cut into the middle, still going. Sito to Roseboom. Back to Sito. Across the face, a goal. That one cleared away and will bounce into touch for an Ottawa throw.
And now after 30, 35 odd nervous moments in the second half, Fury FC right back on the front foot where they spent all of the first half, and lovely interplay there from Reed, Dos Santos, Sito, Howarth. Just gotta love the offensive cohesion here late.
As we hit the 90th minute, there'll be 3 additional minutes of time given to close out this one here at TD Place tonight. And now a conversation going on with Sito and a couple TFC players. Will there be a booking here? Shake of hands and nothing will come to that between Dante Campbell and Sito. Howarth with the throw into Steven Dos Santos. Back to Howarth. Looking for Campbell, can't get a clean touch on it. Foul called against Roseboom. That one as he bumped Malik Johnson. Liam Fraser whips it over to the far side. Good run there by Brandon Aubrey to head that back to Mark Pace in the Toronto goal. Outlets to Dunn. Long ball forward. McElhaney there, but foul will be called on Sean Hundle as he got tied up with Del Campo. Played 1 minute of the 3 minutes of allotted additional time here in the second half. Captain Lance Roseboom sends that over for Shane McElhaney. Calm as you like into John Barden. Barden to Roseboom. McElhaney has made a run forward. Now Carl Howarth has some room to run. Has Sito going forward. Dos Santos is going forward. Howarth rips it off the crossbar. Oh, he let it go from distance. And despite the fact that he had both Sito and Dos Santos shouting for that ball, Howarth with the effort from distance and just denied by the upright.
And boy, oh boy, he got all of that with the right boot and just powered it. Too hot for Pace to react to, and looked up, had all kinds of time. It was a great strike, just, 3 inches lower, and that's bar down as opposed to bar up for the Fury winger. But again, Carl Howarth with another excellent performance this evening, proving why he is considered by many one of the top players in the USL.
You really got to like the effort there, and I don't think there would have been an option to get it through to Sito, and trying to find it to split the defenders to get to Dos Santos might have been a tricky one, but well, the goal may not come tonight for Carl Howarth as we almost hit the 3 minutes of allotted stoppage time, but he's due. And there's the final whistle. Fury FC breaking the unbeaten streak and getting back into the win column with a clutch 2-0 victory over Toronto FC2 here tonight. And if you're going to break it down on the time clock, Carlos, you could say that they probably dominated this game from about 70, I would say a solid 70 minutes. You could say that entire opening 45 minutes, less kind of 7-8 minutes, kind of scary moments to start that second half where Toronto came out full of vim and vigor, looking to find that equalizer. And then no question, ever since Sito with that miraculous strike for his 5th goal of the season to make it 2-0 for Ottawa, they kind of put the pedal down to close this one out here to claim the 2-0 victory.
Yeah, and I think, you celebrate the 3 points, but the focus has to quickly move now to Bethlehem Steel. If Ottawa Fury FC are going to be a playoff team, are going to be a contender in the East, they have to take care of the Minnows, and that's what TFC2, unfortunately, at this point are. They're a minnow. They had only 3 wins coming into this game. Fury FC dominated them like everyone else contending in the East has dominated them. A good win for Fury, nothing to celebrate too much about, and it's on to Bethlehem next week.
You'll likely see Sito's goal in the running for the USL goal of the week, but when it comes to the man of the match, we got to give it to the guy who had the goal that really got things going for Ottawa, and they needed that goal early just to calm things down. And Aake Luer in his Fury FC debut, what more could you ask from the kid? Unfortunately, had to go out through 60 minutes due to injury, but you couldn't script it any better than what we saw from Luer here tonight.
Absolutely. The under-20 Ugandan international was nothing short of fantastic in the, 65, 70-odd minutes that he got in this match. Created, looked like a centerpiece in the heart of the Fury FC attack, and also gave them a new dimension. And so I think that's something that between him and Reed, I think Paul Dalglish fans, teammates will be very excited about the young attacking future of this squad.
A massive 3 points won by Paul Dalglish's side. Aake Luer with a first half strike, and Sito with a highlight reel goal in the second half does the business for Ottawa at TD Place here tonight. Our next broadcast will come your way next Saturday, a 7 o'clock kickoff, August the 5th at TD Place when they host the Bethlehem Steel. Another huge 3 points on the line for Ottawa Fury FC. For our entire broadcast crew, our producer Mike Sutherland, for Tyler McDonald and Jenna Mosier, Carlos Verdi and myself, Graham Ivory, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. This has been Ottawa Fury FC Soccer.
This copywritten telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent from the United Soccer League.